Hello, class. Today we will be talking about qualifiers. So, what is a qualifier? Well, a qualifier is typically, generally, a phrase or word that precedes another word, typically an adjective or an adverb, um, to which it modifies to help distinguish whether or not it's an adjective or an adverb. Um, Also, they help differentiate. So, for instance, when we use very, we say very beautiful to beautiful describing as an adjective, and very quickly to distinguish between, um, to identify an adverb quickly. So, in another case, in a sentence, for instance, we use for a car, the car is very fast. So we're saying very to distinguish uh, how fast the car is going. Well, as an adjective. Um, the car moved too slowly compared to other cars. So we're using too as a qualifier to modify slowly. Um, there's also, you have qualifiers to distinguish or point out adjectives or adverbs in a sentence to describe like the extent of, like, or diminish or intensify um, what is being modified in that sentence. So, for instance, the air was somewhat cold that morning. We use somewhat to an extent of how cold it was that morning. We used the climber very cautiously set her route. So the climber cautiously set her route very carefully to an extent of how cautiously she set her route. We also can use in qualifiers to distinguish or to determine intensity within a sentence. So, like for power words, for instance, when you're using a qualifier, you don't want to use too many qualifiers because then your sentence can become too wordy, and then you might need to substitute for another more precise or concise word to help clear up that sentence. So, for instance, we would say the speaker is really strong. We want to substitute really strong for something more concise. So we might say, to make that clear, we might say the speaker is very profound. So those are examples of how you can use a qualifier and what a qualifier is and what qualifiers do.